Oh yeah!
Alright, hope everybody's having a good one. Welcome to Planet Coaster 2 with Cookie Pirate. Today we are back in the tropical park, and we're going to kind of continue what we've been doing the last few days, is just improving some of the existing stuff, and adding some scenery, kind of cleaning up the park, getting the crime reduced, all that good stuff. Yeah, let's get that cleaned. That's a weird bug. And these here. Alright. Really not too much to catch up on notifications. Alright, so let's see what we've got. So yesterday our big focus was this area of the park over here, with the Kraken coaster. We added this chair swing, which seems to be quite popular, so we actually may need to modify the queue. I'm thinking of possibly running it around this direction. And then we added the top spin ride, which gets basically zero attention, so I'm thinking we're probably going to take that out. Replace it with something different, maybe kind of add... Well, there's a few people that are coming over to it, but... I'm thinking perhaps we could add something smaller, and that would give us enough room to actually add, like, some shops or something. Or maybe we just add scenery over here, and not really worry about any attractions in this area. I haven't fully decided, but let's kind of see how these end up going. Top of the coaster right here. We'll get this, we're going up the lift. Guess they're having their pool passes refunded. Really? Wow, that's pretty neat. So yeah, this coaster ended up coming out pretty well after we added some effects and the scenery and stuff like that. It definitely is more reminiscent of the original Kraken coaster that I made. Back over here, I think it was, yeah, right around here. And that went out that way. And it was full of water and rocks and palm trees and stuff like that. So we've got that pretty well fixed up. I don't think this is going to be too long of a stream tonight. Now I say that. I said that before, and they both went over 2 hours. But we'll just see kind of what we get into and what goes on, and kind of go from there. Here's our Mako coaster. We did this a few nights ago. And I fixed up the queues, which I'm still not a big fan of, but we tore up the bottom of the station down here and added some shops, some tables. So we got plenty of options for people to get stuff over here, which is kind of nice. Come clean this trash can because it's full. Wow. 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 since we don't have the queue going underneath here, we could actually probably step that bridge down a little bit. But I ain't too worried about that right now. I think we might need some additional restrooms. They're getting dirty quickly, and I think it's just because of the high guest count. With that turned up. Yeah, so it really remains to be seen what I decide to do with this over here. I'm really not sure yet. I want to take a look at some other areas of the park. This whole pirate area is definitely pretty lackluster. This over here might be a little easier to deal with, the Mamba coaster. And that's just a matter of a little bit of terrain work and adding a whole ton of trees. I don't foresee that we're going to add much stuff in this area. Back over here we might have room to extend this and actually, I don't know. We'd probably... I mean, we could do it if we dipped the terrain. And then we'll have to do something with the fire volcano coaster. This will probably get torn up. How's this over here looking? Not a ton of activity over here right now. I think it's a little more sparse back here now that we have more people. It looks like there's a lot more people focusing on the rides over here. And actually there's a good bit of activity over here, but to a lesser extent. That train's almost full. Oh no, it's full. But this one's only going out that's 3/4. That's not bad. So we've got more activity out this way. I think less of it is making its way to the very back of the park now. I want to make sure that our prices for the rides, yeah, they're all at 0. Okay, good. It is jam-packed for this chair swing. That is actually pretty surprising. Oh yeah, okay, hold on. Right there. He did it right there. Uh-huh. Oh, he got busted. Ha! Out! Alright, well they're kicked out. Let's go ahead and get that fixed. Still almost nobody using these lounge chairs, man. And that kind of sucks, because it was a fair bit of effort to put that together, but yeah. Okay. I do want to go into the heat map and take a look at what needs... Ooh! Okay, yeah. Alright, well somebody broke that garbage can. And then the other one is... Oh, this is broken too. Good lord. Let's get that fixed. And these just look like they're kind of full. A lot of trash around here over by the pool deck. So let's actually get some janitors to help take care of this. I want to keep that cleaned up. Probably need one over there. Pretty considerable amount of trash over here. Alright, somebody busted both of these garbage cans, really? Let's get those taken care of. Alright, we're getting the area around the pool taken care of. And there's a little bit right over here. Grab one more janitor to take care of that. But overall, it's not looking too bad now. There's a bit over here. But just some more janitors to kind of help stay on top of that stuff. They're going over there to deal with that. Somebody just dropped the litter right there. Nice. Way to go. Hey, Strawberry Jam, what's going on? I think we need to adjust the timing of these trains right here. Out of that station in particular. I'm building a park and making roller coasters off of your tips, and they're much better, thank you. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Glad to hear that help. But I'm not the expert roller coaster builder. Brawl Making and Jimpers are definitely better at it than I am, so any tips that they give, you should definitely heed their advice. But I'm glad I could help. Now, we got some cool stuff going on in here. Oh, mine train is almost full. Not a whole lot of people on this over here. Almost could make sense to add some sort of a ride or something over here in the thick of this forest. You get an overlook out that way. Maybe a small flat right over here or something like that. To do something with this over here. Alright, so let's go over to this. I think this is going to be my next kind of project, so to speak, that I want to focus on. And let's actually do scenery brush, and we're going to go with just a variety of palm trees. And if we wanted to do terrain work right around here, we could. It actually could be kind of cool to have it go through a tunnel back out over this way. So tell you what, I'm going to actually pause. And we're going to take a few of these up. Give us just a little bit of room to do terrain work. And we could even kind of do some stuff kind of right along the edge here, kind of build it up so it just doesn't look like a cliff drop off, because this looks pretty tacky. Hey Minecraft, how's it going? Welcome. Alright, so what we're gonna do is make a... Let's go with use selected. We're gonna do just a rock sample, bump that up there. Pipe all of this in basically and get this terrain right along the edge here to merge upward, and then we can even do just a flatten like to foundation right there to kind of make it a little bit more seamless. In fact, we should just drag that out kind of maybe this way, and we can do some, you know, more precise coarse rock work here in a bit. If we just drag that out over this way, give us something to build up so it doesn't just look like a sheer drop off the whole way, which in my opinion looks pretty crappy. And we can do some terrain sculpting and painting and stuff like that here in a bit. I still have the boardwalk area, yes I do. I have not torn it up yet. Probably gonna get rid of it though. Alright, that doesn't look too bad. I'll deal with most of the rest of that in a bit, but what I want to focus on right now is tunneling out where we just filled in over the RMC. So I get this little portion done right here. And again, we'll go through and kind of paint over that in a bit. Alright, here we go. So what we're going to do is push this in. We're going to lower that, and we want to go with about a 16 foot. Maybe even turn it down to 13. Yeah. Well, make sure you relocate the Zamperla hump ride thingy. Which one are you talking about? Oh, the board slide ride? So we could probably add another tropical theme one. They actually have one built in. Yeah, they've got... Well, actually, not for this, but they do have a tropical themed one for this, and... Yeah, we can modify some of that stuff. But, yeah, we're gonna add flat rides throughout the park. That's one thing, is just... There were almost no flat rides, except for over there, with the exception of the pirate ship. And then... Yeah, the board slide, yeah. Yeah, we'll add one of those somewhere else. We may need to widen this a little bit. I don't know. Let's bring it back around this way here. Alright, we've tunneled the whole thing out. So we'll unpause and we'll just get a quick glance of... Quick glance of how the coaster moves through the tunnel. Hang on. Is it stuck? It is. Wow, what in the world? let's reopen it. Now, hang on a second. Yep, so he's coming back over to open it up. That was weird. No train in the station. They were both stuck, one at the top of the lift and the other at the mid-course. There we go. And I'll have to watch with a train with people on it so we can see the clearance of them. Heads, arms, etc. If we're going for realism. Alright, we got a little time. Just get those taken care of. Oops. Go back this way. Hey mate, let's put another shrimp on the barbie. What's going on, Dale? Hey, Jimpers, how are you? Alright, so this is what we're going to watch for right here. It's going to go through that 0G stall. And just in a couple different spots, we'll see. Yeah, that might be a little bit high right there. Looks like it's okay. Alexander, what's going on, man? Welcome. Yeah, that's a tad on the high side. Well, we can kind of push some of this a little bit wider. But honestly, that's mostly fine. And then just checking in a couple different places here. That's all good. That's fine. Just been mourning to death. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. That sucks. It's never fun. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Okay. Alright, that overall right there looks pretty good. If I pull this back out to try to kind of even out the... Yeah, that's totally fine right there. I think that's in good shape there. Have I gotten Discord? I need to set it up. I've got a couple people telling me, "Hey, set it up." I wasn't streaming for a little while. Kind of off and on in a few weeks. I know what you're gonna say, bro. It's been a while. Like, I've never been big on like all the different social media stuff, but I think for the purposes of, you know, this, it would definitely be something worth having. I haven't slept in like 36 hours. You need to get some rest. You go that long without sleep, and it starts taking a significant toll on your body. I know from what you just said that you've been going through a lot. I hate that for you. I'm gonna get up real quick. I've got my headset on. But you also need to make sure that you are taking good care of yourself. Because, ouch! Tripped over a shoe in the hallway. Ow! Anyway, you need to make sure that you're taking good care of yourself so that you don't let yourself get too worn down. And that also makes it harder to deal with whatever you've got going on when you are overtired and not well rested, and you can't, you can't think as clearly, or you don't have that, like, mental, state of mind to handle the things that you need to. I mean, if there's anything you need to talk about, we got a whole group of people here that are willing to reach out. Yeah, I'm totally fine. I tripped over a shoe in my hallway. Sorry I haven't been on. Hey, don't apologize. I mean, I get it. People get tied up with real life stuff or other things that they've got to do, and I'm never one of this. I don't think there really are people out there. I mean, there probably are, but I've never encountered somebody that has criticized somebody for not showing up in a long time, or criticized them for coming late or going early. I'm not about that stuff. I appreciate every one of you when you show up, whenever you can, for how long as you can. It's greatly appreciated. I don't set the expectations on anybody to be here every time, or from start to finish, or etc., stuff like that. It's all for fun, and whoever comes around, and whoever doesn't, I hope to see them back soon. Alright, let's unpause. I'm waiting for the server to come out so I can upload early POVs of coasters. Jimpers, that's gonna be a cool thing. Definitely would have, like, some sort of a channel for, hey, upload your creations, or you can share other people's stuff, but preferably your own stuff. And definitely gonna do a contest of some sort. Jimpers, did you ever make that stand-up coaster? I think you said you were gonna do a stand-up, if I remember right. I was actually, while I was eating dinner, I actually pulled up my very first stream of this game, and the very first coaster I made was a B&M stand-up. And it actually was pretty decent for, the first coaster ever in this game. Oh, this doesn't look very good. Let's... clear a few of these out. Which biome should I pick? I don't really know. What kind of park are you going for? Like, do you have a theme in mind, or... Oh, you kind of lost motivation. I don't blame you. It was kind of just a whim, spur of the moment sort of thought, and just for fun. But I definitely want to do a real, like, challenge and get people the opportunity to play for something. You're going for a sci-fi? Really any of those would work with a sci-fi. I'm a little preferential to the scenery of the, excuse me. of the taiga biome. But really, any of them would work. I think a lot of people just go for the temperate most of the time, unless they're doing a theme that fits a better one. I want to be careful to not pull any of the terrain next to the coaster track that we just worked on. Actually go through and clear out most of those trees. Yeah, temperate's a good choice. It's pretty safe. It fits with just about everything. Like I said, I'm a little bit preferential to the taiga just because of the fjord and the mountains are just so beautiful. But yeah, temperate's always a good choice. Although, interestingly, I've never really made a park with the temperate biome. I tend to gravitate toward the taiga or tropical. I've done the Mediterranean a couple times. It's okay. I'm really hoping they would come out with some sort of a, like a desert or a winter one. I think the desert would really well fit the Western theme. Obviously, tropical fits the resort theme pretty well. Also, pirate. I'm working on a concept of what I think the alleged BGT Giga would look like. I think that would be really cool, but I kind of growled a little bit. Because, I mean, they keep talking about it, and unless there's something in the news that I haven't heard, and I don't know. That seems to be what everybody's hyping up, but it's just a big rumor mill. Now, I have seen where some people got surveys, and were asked about what kind of coaster they would want, and one of the concepts was a Giga. There is not a desert, Dale. There is in PC1, but not in 2. Not yet. Alright, I think here's where we could do a little terrain work. We've got the dive loop right down here. So we could actually just build up the terrain over that. It's unlikely we're going to have anything out over in this area anyway. We need to press that down just a little bit here. I went just a little bit far. But that's really about it. Kind of right up over there, and we're good. Should you pick Ultra Spin or Floorless? I'll let Jimpers give his opinion on that. I love the Floorless coasters. That's one of my favorite types of coasters. But Ultra Spin can be a lot of fun too. I think they're a little bit tougher to build. Floorless are pretty easy. Alright. Now let's do some scene or terrain painting, scenery painting. I mean, it effectively is, but I want to bump that intensity down. When you paint grass on rock, you can definitely... We went low. Or not low, high on this. We need to lower it, smooth it out a little better. My opinion. Floorless is a people pleaser, yeah. That really is. I love the floorless coasters, and I say that as an enthusiast. Not a hardcore enthusiast, but one. But I love the floorless. Alright, paint that back over this way. Maybe we could go with a longer grass up over here. I could be a total perfectionist and try to crop all that stuff down, but I mean, we're gonna litter it with trees, so... Alright, this over here, we're gonna do just some shading of some grass. Too much. I don't want to paint inside the tunnels. Yeah, Alexander, I would say that is the safer of the two. Ultra spin is really time consuming. Yeah. I agree with Jimpers on that. It's more of a niche type of coaster as well. Floorless, I mean, you've got all sorts of real-life models that you can kind of build off of, and you can kind of do your own thing with it. But you can also look at other coasters that are B&Ms, like stand-ups. A lot of stand-ups get converted to floorless, so you could do something like that. There's only 6 of them, but the regular sit-down loopers like Kumba, Dragon Con, Incredible Hulk, and stuff like that, you could take those, and with the exception of the drive tire launch, you could take one of those and turn it into a floorless, so to speak. So you got a lot of good options. Alright, I think that looks a lot better. We'll just shade this over up top. Wow, I'm sorry, I got the hiccups and... Probably not going through, but... Yeah, that's a bit better. Alright. Now let's go back into the trees. And let's just... And here's how we can kind of hide the imperfections of the scenery at the boundary, is just add a load of trees. You can actually even bump that up a little bit, make it a little more dense. You can go further up. Any of you know how to make a building in it? What do you mean, like making a station? You could never find out how to use these little square thingies to work better. Alright, let me give you a little bit of a quick tutorial. It's actually not difficult once you get the hang of it. It does take a little practice at first. So I'm just gonna go right over here into this open area, and I'm gonna get a... Just gonna build a custom coaster. You know what, since you're doing a floorless, let me just grab that. So, you're gonna raise your station, you're gonna set it where you want. Don't even worry about the track right now. Now what you're gonna do is go into your scenery pieces, and you need to choose a wall set. You don't have to do a filter, like this, but whatever pieces you want to, whatever pieces you want to use are going to have to be actual wall pieces and not just ordinary scenery items. So if you're going sci-fi, I'm going to go scenery theme, choose the sci-fi, and you can take it a step further by going with wall set, and let's just go with sci-fi metal alloy. So these are the pieces that you're going to need to use. to actually do the station. I'm going to start with these windows. I recommend you use windows on at least part of the station. And you're gonna just hover it over the station until you get that option that says, I'll pull it back up for you, align with floorless 1 station. Now you've got a grid, and you can actually click them right in place like that. And you'll do them here, but notice how I'm leaving this open right now. So I'm going to place these here. The important thing for you to know is when it comes time to do the pieces around the station, you're going to go with these station surround 1 and 2. One goes above, like this, and just snap them into place. Make sure you have them lined up on the right side as well, because you have your inner and outer. You want to place them on the inner in most cases. So you'll go with that there. And then for station surround 2, you're going to place this below your track. So you're actually going to slide it down. And it also does help if you turn the grid height down a little bit. So, but we've got that covered right over here. And then from here, what you can do, I recommend where the station has like the scaffolding below it, you use these 2-meter wall pieces and just surround it like that. We'll do the same thing on this side. Yeah, you're welcome. Like I said, it takes a little bit of practice, but once you get the hang of it, it's really not difficult. And then your 4-meter pieces down here, or if you want, you know, for example, to have your cube path run underneath the station, or you want to open it up like a food court like I did, like over here, for example, then you can use a variety of window pieces. Arches are good for where you have paths. And then just basically kind of run them around like that. So yeah, you've got a ton of options. And don't worry about a little of it being underground. That's normal, especially if your height is not snapped to something exact. But that's the gist of it. Play around. Like I said, it does take a little bit of practice, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty quick. So there you go. This is freaking amazing. Thanks, Dale. I appreciate it. Alright, and let me go ahead and clear that out. And it all becomes one scenery group, so you do have to be careful. If you want to go delete a piece, make sure that you don't delete the whole thing by mistake. If you do, hit the back arrow. Of course, it brings it back. To delete individual pieces, make sure you double-click, and only the piece that you want to remove is highlighted. Like that. Okay? So hopefully that helps you out a bit. Alright. Let's go back in here and add a few more palms just up kind of through here. Ah! End up placing a couple over the track. Add them through there. We'll leave this open over here because we have room to add, you know, a couple, you know, rides and stuff potentially. Alright, we're gonna go with sampled for this here. And then we can shade a little bit of rock. Let's bump that up. Kind of do the same thing over here. We're actually gonna do a flatten the foundation and bring this out a little bit here. Kind of cap down on some of the rough terrain edges over here. Thanks for putting that station building on the workshop. Yeah, which one? Surf station or one of the other ones? The Mako station or... It doesn't say add to building. So when you place the place the building piece, make sure you hover it over the actual coaster station, and it should say align with whatever the name of your ride and station is. So you'll want to make sure that shows up. You need me to pull it back up? The surf one. Oh, yeah, the surf one was... That was quite difficult to make. That was a really fun one, though. Well, not... I mean, it kind of was fun to make, but it was really rewarding when it was done. Oh, you got it. Okay, good. Oh, and it's just like a cliff edge back over here. Okay. So I think what we're going to do is just pull this out over toward the railroad station over here. And the back, right back here. Could even pull this forward just a little bit and tunnel it in. I think I might actually do that. That would look a bit better. Instead of having the coaster path, pass beneath the pass right here. Path. Pass beneath the path. Ah! Oh, you got it. Good. Glad to hear it. Yeah, you're welcome. That's what, I'm always glad to help. You know, when I do these streams, I mean, I have fun doing them and it's cool to hang out and stuff, but I like being able to teach people something, and I also like being able to learn from people. Alright, I am going to shift these a little bit. So I'm gonna grab these four, bring them up, connect them here. Oh, these poor people are stuck off the path. Alright, and delete those pieces of path there, and we can maybe tunnel this back in. So it's gonna be a little extra work right here, but worth it. We can fine-tune. Alright, now we're going to go in here and tunnel this out. We're going to make that 20 feet. This is a little bit larger. Alright. Oh, don't pull the terrain back. It's not what I wanted. Alright, I actually ran into a little bit of trouble doing this with the Viking Park. I'm going to try to make it work here. See, it's opening up a little bit of a gap up top, so we're just gonna pull the terrain upward right here. See, it's still trying to respect the border. So what we'll do with that is just pull it up, and then just kind of push it in right along the edge. Take some of the jagged edges off to the extent possible, and we'll come back in. Oh, that would have been a good vantage point if the train is going to clear. If it doesn't, and it doesn't respect the terrain, then we'll just do away with it. Oh, hold on. This is a good way to see it. So the width is right. We just need to raise this a little bit. And that's what I was afraid of. That's what I didn't want to happen. We could just litter that with rocks. But all of this is gone. Okay, let's see here. Generally, reducing the size would actually help with this. Well. So that's the height that we need all of that to be at. Just have to see how much we can push that upward without it puncturing through. Yep, like that there. Check all of this while we're at it. A little low over here, maybe? No, that's actually okay. Alright. So I think we're in a better spot with that. Okay. Let me come back over here and just check this. Where we were. Any of it gap open? Maybe not. I think we actually got it. I think we're in pretty good shape with that there. Okay. Now, what we do need to do is enclose this. So that's going to be just a very kind of fine tool. Just pulling this outward right here against the edge of the path. And we can push that corner in. That's actually pretty good. We come back out. Oh, it was the wrong. There we go. I think one thing in future parks, I want to try to mess with the terrain around the edges less. It does get a little bit kind of tricky. Just try to clean up around this edge just a little bit here without messing up the tunnel. Now we're good. Alright, and then up here we could probably do just a variety of scenery pieces. Let's go into this and do some tropical small rocks. Align to surface, avoid paths, and we're going to turn that down. Honestly, we could even go with a couple large ones, I think. Let me just make sure those... Yeah. Oops. Let me go into here, and we could probably... Let's do some small palms up here. Let's turn that back down. kind of thick line of forest right around the edge there. Well, leave this land open over here so we can add some extra stuff. We choose to do so. And we have them extend out over this way and then kind of cut back. We want to run some stuff over here. Alright, Jimpers, yeah, give me just a minute. I'll check it out. I'm curious. See what you did. You got the front of that nice and lush. Let's do... I want to do a couple things over here. We're going to bump that up just to 4 feet. Add a few additional trees. I forgot to dress up this area last night when we were working over kind of remodeling this area of the park. Oh, it's dropping a couple. And let's go back in and do some small tropical rocks. And even add a couple large ones in some of this over here. Go back to the small ones. It'd be cool to run a small waterfall down into that, but I don't know. I have to think about that. I think I want to redo the water right over here, because originally I'd made it to kind of... Yeah. We'll look at that in a minute. I feel like this is really starting to come together again after just so long of not really doing anything with it. Just feeling really stagnant. Not making really new rides. I have a few flat rides and stuff, but not really adding coasters. We've got a bunch, but just really the buildings and the scenery. Just trying to make the park. Excuse me, trying to, you know, make it more kind of lifelike. Alright, Alexander, hey, have a great night. We'll catch you around, okay? It was good to see you again. Dale, no, you did not. We're going to look at it right now. So let's go into here. Come on. What's going on with the game? It comes up that way. Alright, here we go. Ooh, I like those custom supports. Alright, so real quick, I just want to take a look at the coaster overall. Really neat custom support. I would raise the terrain right up over that there. Beautiful custom supports right here. This arch. Alright, we come back this way. It looks like we've got pretty good drop. Comes into a high-speed turn. Big airtime hill. Overbank turn. Some low to the ground. Another overbank. Airtime. Alright. Yeah. Looks like a pretty inspired layout. I like the color scheme on the track too. The orange and the white. Or if it's like a light blue color, I'd have to look. Yeah, very light blue. Argentinian. It's actually not the lightest, but it just looks light, probably in the sun. Alright, I am going to add some music. We're gonna hype this up. Front bumper, start the test. Keep the stats on. Tops up 94 miles an hour. Oh, look at that. I love these little bunny hills that just give that, you know, keeps the speed really well, but gives you that floater and even in some cases more mild ejector into the brakes. It is crawling a little bit through the brakes. I would speed that up a little. That's just me. That was so cool. I think that's a really cool layout. Alright. Oh, that's criminal. It's probably from the extended brakes. Really neat. I would say some of my favorite moments on the coaster. I mean, this is a really neat airtime hill right here. And it's kind of sweeping through that. I like, after this, you get this nice camelback, and then you go right into the low to the ground kind of speed hills. I would say you've got more than enough braking, so perhaps what I would do here is add another hill and then have it come back up into that there to slow the train down. I want to play around a little bit with these brake speeds. Come on. What's the track? Say honestly, if you get it like 10 miles an hour, and then even through this, like right back here. Just run all of these segments. You could even run that at like 11 or 13. Speed it up. And I'm just curious to see what that does to the stats. What did I mess up? Now, so my thought was just to increase the speed of the brakes a little bit, because it just crawled. Yeah, and that makes a definitely a noticeable difference there. Because the way the EFN scores, this just slowed it down. But it also, I was like, man, the ride's over. It's snail's pace to crawl through that. That's just me. Totally. Yeah, no, I know. This is really cool. I think it's got a cool layout. It's long. See what the total length was. 7,100 feet. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's good speed. It's real good forces, too. It's actually a little bit modest for a Giga, but I think that's actually a good thing. Is it'll appeal to more people. It's not too intense. A lot of my hypers that I build, we go for that real high excitement, and it just drives the fear up a bit much. Particularly with my Mako hyper. I do want to look at the heat maps. We pause it. I'm going to go with the previous run. Yeah. Yes, it's got a lot of exciting elements. It did feel like it maybe meanders a little bit through this section here. Slow. It doesn't have a lot of force. But then when you come back around, you get right back into it. With that and that. These camelbacks are nice. And then these bunny hills right over here. I think, like, I love those. I don't know, the game just, I don't like the way that they do the EFN scores sometimes. Really cool coaster overall. Thanks so much for sharing. I like this a lot. What's up with that? I didn't notice that before. Didn't look right. Yeah, I love the custom supports on this too. That just looks really neat. You could flesh that out with some lights and stuff. It would be really neat. I'm actually curious of something. Thinking of Busch Gardens. I want to see if somebody's remade Scorpion. I unfortunately didn't get to ride it. It was standing when I was there in March, but of course it was closed off. Oh yeah, yeah, they've got a couple of them. That's definitely a remade. Yep. Yeah. It's a bummer they removed it. It's actually pretty cool. Then they have the log flume. They also shut the log flume down. Just a couple months ago, I think. I did get on that when I was there in March. Fun ride. Silver Arrow Scorpion. Oh, a Silver Arrow model must have been. That's cool. Alright, Chimpers, thanks so much for sharing. That was really neat. Do you have an idea, like, a theme that you think they would go for the Hyper or something like that? It's all just a bunch of, or the Giga, it's all just a bunch of speculation to me. I just hope they don't remove Kumba. They put all that work into it to get it back up and running, and I think the park has room to add a Giga without tearing up Kumba. Alright, so we come back into here. Let's get a few of these cleaned. Oh, I just cleared that by mistake. Oh well. Yeah, put the boulder right down below that. Now we may have to get rid of a few of these big ones. Yeah. Dang. That one's probably okay. Might be rough rock. Alright, let me come back in here and fix this up. So we're actually going to have to remove the water temporarily. Haha. Pull a little bit of that scenery up where we just kind of sculpted back. While I'm at it, let's just fix this up right here. Rather like that, we can paint over it in a moment. Let's get the water back in place. It looks about right. Yep, that's right. Take up a couple of these just over the edge of the water. These are kind of floating. We can replace them. Take those 2 miscellaneous palm trees up. Ah, there we go. That's a bit better. Looks so freaking fantastic. I appreciate that, Dale. I'm trying. Not gonna fit many right here. Oh, that works. Oh. And maybe we can go into a couple of the small rocks right there. Just turn that down. Yeah, about that there. We can do some painting. Right in that area. Can we get rails on the paths? Yeah, I mean, where they're up against the water, absolutely. I mean, a lot of it does. So I don't tend to put railings on all of the paths, unless there's... There's not a ride operator at that right now. Alright, let's get that cleaned. So we got that area pretty well addressed, I think. Actually gonna do a little something right here. And it's just a nice little small waterfall right there by the train. Just make it a little more scenic. And actually, if you're up on this bridge, you get a view of that, which is kind of nice, just to kind of enhance the experience a little bit right there. I feel like that over here could maybe even use a little bit of water or something, but that would be more effort to sculpt out. This is a whole other level. Yeah, I know, right? This is finally really starting to look like something. It was just barren before, and we've really brought this whole area to life. This is jam-packed through here. Holy cow. We might actually even have to widen that. I was thinking about putting a couple, like, fountains or some scenery objects in here, but based on how cramped the path is, we might just have to fill that in a little bit, just to kind of help the flow of foot traffic. It's a little odd, because they're angled. I mean, we could build the bridge out this way, but the way I built it was to have the path cross underneath the corkscrew at this angle. And it's a little bit of an awkward angle since it has to go under the lift hill and then over the under the corkscrew and then cut back around. So I might try to do something different with that, but I kind of like, and you know, we got the stuff right there on the side. It's jam-packed over here. This is just not really getting much of anything, so we'll probably do something different. Yeah, we got him a path, yeah. And just adding those stamps has kind of helped. Still a bit of a backlog right over here, I think, as people are trying to get to the train station, so we... might even consider kind of widening it over here. I'm going to point out the wooden roller coasters, or the roller coasters that have wood, are somewhat unrealistic in this environment due to the warm, moist climate making maintenance difficult. Yeah, but you know how many coasters you find in more tropical environments like this? I mean, you do have a few wooden ones, and... eh. You know, they've got some wooden coasters in Florida, and I live in the southeast, and they've got plenty of wooden coasters out here. Alright, this over here, I think what we need to continue to do is add trees around it. I'm probably... uh-oh. Hold on. Out! biggest example for me was Gwazi at Busch Gardens, and that was up and running, I think, 16 years. So they're definitely doable. And you use certain types of wood in it. They're more resistant to that. Alright, this over here, I think what we're going to do is just kind of... In the vicinity of this coaster here, we're just going to turn this terrain to grass. We can kind of put some stuff. If you don't maintain one, it's going to feel like you're riding on a jackhammer. Yeah, I'm well aware of that. And that goes for pretty much any wooden coaster. I didn't mean to paint over the rock there. The crime again, get multiple squads. Now we got him there. It's definitely better than it was. Alright, then if we want to go through and add just a few more trees kind of in these areas over here. I would love to see like the custom truss work and stuff like that on these RMCs, like you would find on Iron Gwazi, Zadra, stuff like that. We'll take that tree up in a moment. Honestly, we could tunnel this, but I don't think it's really... Well, that could actually be worth it. That's a good spot for that. Let's make this a little bit smaller and place some trees a little bit closer to the track. See, even one right here could actually be a decent location for it. If it's not blowing up your notifications, definitely has gotten under control. Yeah, it is a lot better than it was. Definitely still, you know, an occasional issue. But they're getting caught, which is a sign that the situation is improving. Alright, so that's a start over here. Even add a couple small ones. It used to be going ham, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, no. Why just those crooked ones that I don't really want? There, yeah, that's what I want. This could be an area for like a log flume or something like that. But I'm probably going to be jumping off in the next few minutes here. It's starting to get late. I'm tired. Probably should add some, or leave some room for some smaller trees and stuff in this area. But I like the way that looks. It just looks more fleshed out. Definitely not as bare. That'll also help. I want to leave this open though, just get a good view of that pre-lift, and then just those couple trees in between, you can see that 0G roll, or barrel roll coming up into the final brakes there. Actually not sure if we're going to put something over here. Oh, and as I say that, I didn't even catch that, I was just focused on these trees. Alright, so this will be a work in progress, and then this is probably going to get moved to the back here, and we're going to do something different with this whole area. What else I would like to do, well, develop this over here, a whole ton of open land for an additional coaster. And kind of do something with these cliffs over here, kind of where the railroad runs behind everything. These trees are whispering greatness onto this park. I appreciate that. I'm gonna get the waterfall back over here. That's kind of... and the pirate area. So there's definitely a lot of underdeveloped area in the park. But this was the big thing. We might pull this flat land up and kind of rework some of this. We actually have room for some additional stuff now that that's not connecting across. I'd love to do a chairlift. Especially once you get the scenery fleshed out. It's going to look really good having something like that. Go up and over where people can enjoy the... oh, look at that right there. I forgot I had that. Let's yeah, we'll do something with this area here. You could even have it branch over this way from the path out over here. Or if we wanted to redo this, but I don't want this to go too far off the beaten path. That's getting more activity. This is definitely the busiest part of the park over here, but it's definitely clearing up. I think adding those tiles back in has helped. This is just barren over here, so we'll probably get rid of that. This coaster is just loaded. The line's not even super long, but we have a steady stream of people going over to it. Let's do a little terrain work right here while I'm thinking about it. Just gotta fix that up. That transition back over. Oh, you know, let's just paint over that entirely. Oh, I'll match. Drops off like a sheer cliff down here. Kind of like that, I think, looks a bit better. Yeah, this is really starting to come together nice. Like, this looks so much better. And then that over there, we've got a lot to do with this area. And add some stuff over on this side. We've got room to work with. But, we'll save that for another time there. Alright, I think that's gonna do it for me here. Try to do a little longer stream tomorrow, perhaps, and we'll see kind of what we can come up with. And I'm even thinking of doing a brand new tropical park here in the near future. But I've kind of just rediscovered my joy of working on this, and hey, out.
Uh-oh.
How does this look at night? Oh, look at that! It's actually a pretty good, cool glimpse at night, seeing stuff. I know we need like street lights and stuff like that. That gets into real elaborate scenery. We get the fireworks show. New park. Yeah, I'm having so much fun getting back into this one though. This over here looks pretty cool at night, and then you've got it lit up in here with the TV. Add some lights to the building for sure and stuff like that, but yeah. Now, how about that right there? Alright, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. We're going to pick back up tomorrow, most likely. Now, thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. I hope you all have a great rest of the evening or night. And until next time, take care, stay safe, and we'll see ya.